So essentially what we're trying to do is eliminate wasted time. Typically in the aiming process, our whole lives or however long you've been shooting, you bring the gun all the way up on target, you see the sights, take the safety off, make sure everything is good to go, pull the trigger. We need to kind of eliminate all the gaps in between those steps. And the first place we can eliminate is waiting till you get all the way up to the center of the target. You do not have to wait at 5 yards to get your red dot all the way to here. What if I started shooting right here? That's probably a pretty good option. Would it be acceptable to shoot, a foot below center mass? Probably. So how about that be my first shot? So instead of waiting to get all the way up to the center, as I'm coming up, and it's about the time my optic starts to cover center mass, by the time the top of my optic gets to about right here, I know for sure that I'm going to be somewhere in that 12-inch zone somewhere. So I let the top of my optic be my first sighting system. As it's coming up on target, I'm not looking through the sight yet. I'm looking over the top, I'm looking over the top, I'm looking over the top, and now this is right almost in my vision. When I see that, that's my cue to get my first shot up. And then, probably as I continue to shoot, I bring the sight into my eyes, and I actually see the dot for the second, third, fourth shot, whatever. So there might be times when you even actually just try, like to get the red dot in your vision, and you are so hard target focused that you just never see it. I've talked to several police officers who have been in real life shootings that have red dots on rifles and handguns, and sometimes, believe it or not, you just don't see the sights. It doesn't mean they weren't trying to use them necessarily, it just means they never saw it. So what happens then? You gonna spend 10 minutes looking for a red dot? No, you won't, because there's no time. There's a guy pulling a gun out on you. You can't just say, hey, hold on, I can't see my sights yet. You have to trust that your gun is capable of being accurate at this distance. You see guys that hip shoot all the time with handguns and revolvers, and they can hit targets from the hip. Like, that's crazy. How do people do this? If guys can do that, shoot handguns from the hip, surely I can bring the gun up and just get the top of this in my vision and probably be accurate enough to still make sure I'm accountable of getting hits on target. So we're not going to be shooting faster, we're just starting sooner. That's really all we're doing, and we're still in that acceptable area. So at 5 yards on this target, load and make ready. On the fire command, we're going to go through this real slow. I'll come up as soon as I see that the top of my optic hit the bottom of the vital organ area. I'm going to fire, and let's just see where this shot ends up. My eyeballs are looking over my sights, over the top of the optic, and holy smokes, it actually ended up right in the center mass anyway, and I wasn't looking through the tube. I'm looking at the target. The gun is coming up into my vision, and as I look over the sights and the top of my optic starts to occlude center mass, I fire. And it's right where I need to be anyway, and I'm not even using the sights. I'm using a sighting system. I've got my rifle, I've got an optic, I'm using this as a sighting system. All the while, I'm keeping both eyes hard target focused and just waiting for the dot to come up into my vision, but I'm starting sooner. So on the command to fire, as I go slow motion, safety comes off, optics are coming up, I'm staring center mass, I see the top of my sights now, I get to my red dot now, and then I can really get on super accurate shots after that. We kind of, Glover calls it the evolution of the gunfight. You start sooner. Is this still very acceptable hits right here? Yeah, 100%. It wasn't on my optic. I would really like to see my red dot. Oh, hey, now I see it. And now, I mean, this is game changer here. This dude, yeah, I got hits in the lungs, but it might not stop the threat. This will, within 10 seconds, this will be over. This person will no longer be doing anything. So yeah, I want to get to my sights. We don't teach you to just point shoot and never use your sights, but you need to trust your system and trust that it's capable of being accurate enough sooner than what you normally do. And we just proved it right here. All right, so one more time, on the command to fire, come up slowly. Right now the sights start to get in center mass as I look over the top. I get my first shot off. I bring the red dot into my vision, see that, and then I get my more accurate shots after that. All right, so we're going to fire this real slow. Here's one more time. Here's how it'll look. On the threat command, we're going to fire 3 times. Now, now, now. All right, 1 hopefully is going to be in the general neighborhood. The last 2 hopefully right exactly where you want them. Everybody cool with that? Yep. All right, let's give it a shot. Slow to make ready.